Hello friends, in this video we will learn more important tags that are used in HTML such as hyperlinks, tables, forms, iframe and div. So let's start. Let's start with the hyperlinks. Hyperlink tag is used to connect two websites. For example, if you have ever seen blue and underlined text in the websites, so when you click on it, it will lead you to another website. And that's what hyperlink do. And we can use images, tables, text and any other tags to give a link to another website. For hyperlink, we simply use opening and closing tag of A. So let's try it. So for hyperlink, we use this A. So let's write A, opening and closing tag. And inside this, we can write the text that will be displayed on the web page. So let's write Google. And let's save it and refresh the browser. Now you can see it is not linked to any other web page or website. For this we use this href element. So let's say ref, and inside this we will be writing the URL of the link that we will be giving. So for this we will be using Google one. Now let's save it and refresh the browser. Now you can see that Google word is now underlined and become blue. Now when we click on it, it will lead us to another web page or website. Now it leads us to the Google because we have given the link of the Google. We can also give the link of a web page that are saved in our desktop or any folder. As you can see that this is the location of this page, and you can simply copy this and paste it here if you want to go to another web page in the same PC. So you can do it by this. Now let's say we want to open this link in another tab. By default, it opens in a same tab, as you can see. For this, we use this target attribute. So let's write target. And inside this, we use this blank. So it will open the link in another tab. So let's save it and refresh the browser. Now when we open the Google, it will opens in another tab. So that's how we can do it. So by this way, you can give links to anything you want. So now that's a lot for hyperlinks. Now let's move on to forms. Forms are most commonly used in these days. You will see in every website in a form of login page, contact forms, and if you are applying for anything, you have to fill the form. So how we can create a form in a website or how we can customize it. So let's take a look at it. By the way, subscribe to this channel will be amazing. So inside the opening and closing tag of forms, we write input. Let me create a simple login form so you can understand it better. So let me write input. We write only opening tag of input. Let me create 3 of them. Now I have created 3 inputs and let me separate it by using break. So for break, as you know, we use this br. Let me copy it and paste it again so we have more space between 2 inputs. Also we need here. So now let's save it and you will see it by yourself. Now you can see that we have 3 inputs here. Now inside the input we can choose the type of input. So for let's say first will be the email type. So let's write type, and inside we can write email. Now for second input, let's make it type password, and in third one let's make a type submit. Now let's save it and refresh the browser, and you can see that we have 2 inputs and 1 submit form, and we can give it a name login, but this is good. Now in first one we have to write a Gmail, let's say. In second one, we will be writing password. So as you can see that it is not showing up because it is type password, and we can write anything. And the third one is the submit button. So when we click on it, it will submit it somewhere we want it to go. So for this we have to give it an action button. So let's say action. And inside this we will be giving the link. So when we click on the submit, it will go to that link. Let's save it and refresh the browser. Now let me write email. If we write another thing and we submit it, it will not be submitted. Let's try that. Let's give it a password and submit it. Now you can see that these are showing that you have to use @ in the email address because it is not proper. So let's make it, let's say @gmail.com, and this is the password. And when we click on the submit, it will goes to the www.google.com, as you can see. So by this way we can create forms. Now there are a lot of other options in input. Now let's say if you want to create a radio buttons for like choosing between your gender. If you are male, then you can choose male, and if you are female, then you can choose female. So for this we use this radio, and inside the input opening tag we also write name. So name will be gender, and again value will be, for the first one we will be giving the male. Now outside the opening tag of input we will write the text that we want to show. So let's say male. Now let's do the same to the second one. So let's copy this and paste it here for the simplicity, and change the male to female, and also write there female. Now let's save it, and when we refresh it, you will see that we have two choices, male and female. If you are male, you can click on that. If you are female, then you can choose that, and you can submit the form. By this way you can use the radio buttons. We can also use checkbox. It is the JavaScript features. Now when we let's save it and when refresh it, and you can see that now there is a checkbox before male. So when we click on it, the box is checked, and then now unchecked. And by this way we can use different things. When you write type, and you can see that you can give dates, date times, emails, files, hidden images, numbers, radios, search, submit, text, time, URL. And let's remove this, and also remove this text and this input, and save it. Now let's refresh it, and you can see that this is the default date place, and you can choose when you click on it, and you can choose any date you want, and you can choose any month, any year, and it is very important and most often used. So by this way we can use and do many things inside the form. So now that's it for the forms. Now let's move on to tables. As tables are defined from its name, we can create rows and columns, and also we can merge rows and columns in each other, like we do in Microsoft Excel. So let's take a look at it. For tables, we write simply table, and inside this we will be creating a row, and inside row we will be adding columns. So for row we write tr. So let's write tr. And inside opening and closing tag of tr, we will be creating columns which are defined by td. So let's say we have created the row, and let's say we create a column. So for column we use td, and inside td let's say I write row 1 column 1. Let's save it and let's refresh it. Now you can see that it is the row 1 and the first column. Now let's say if we want to create two rows with two columns. So for this, let's copy this and paste it in the first row. Now you can see that in first row we have two columns. Now let's copy this all and paste it again. Now you can see that it is first row, and in first row we have two columns, and this is the row 2, and in row 2 we have two columns. Now let's change it to 2, and this is the column 2, this is the column 3, this is column 4. Now let's save it and we refresh the browser. Now you can see that this is the row 1 column 1, this is the row 1 column 2, this is the row 2 column 3, this is row 2 column 4. Now you can see that we cannot differentiate it because there are no borders in a table. We can do that. In tables you can write border, and inside that you can choose whatever size you want. So let's say we will go for 1. Let's save it and refresh the browser. Now you can see that we have borders and we can differentiate very easily. Now by this way we can create tables. Now as you can see that it is size 1. Now let's change it to 6 and let's save it. Now refresh the browser and now you can see that the border size is increased. We can also change the height and width by using style, but let's not do that for now. Let's write style, and now you can see that there are 2 lines. We want to collapse these 2 borders. For this we use border collapse, and inside this we use collapse. So style border collapse is collapsed. By default it is not collapsed. Now let's save it and let's refresh the browser. Now you can see that rows border and the outside border are collapsed. Let's change the border size to 1 and you will see clearly. As you can see that now it is collapsed with the outside border. So by this way we can do that. Now let's remove the style. Let's save it again and refresh it. Now let's say we want to merge 2 rows or 2 columns in each other. Now let's say we want to merge these 2 columns. For this we will be writing calls pane, and in calls pane we will be writing the number of merging the column. So we are merging 2 columns. One is this one and one is that. So for this we will write 2. Now as we have written the 2, now we want this column to be merged on that. So we must remove this column. Let me explain it. Let's save it. Let's save this editor and refresh the browser. Now you can see that this column is merged into 2, but this is now the extra one. So as we know that the extra one is that, so we can now remove it. And let's save it and let's refresh the browser. Now you can see that the row first column is merged into 2. By this way we can merge 2 columns and rows. Now let's say we want to merge these 2 rows. Let's remove these. Let's save it. Now you can see that we have restored everything. Now let's say we want to merge these 2 rows. For this we will be writing rows pane, and inside this we will be writing the number that we want merged, and here is 2. Now let's save it. When we refresh it, you will see that now this one is the extra one, and the first row and first column is merged into 2 rows. So now we know that this one is extra, or you can also remove this one. It means that you can remove one of them. So when we remove it, refresh it and then you can see that our first row and first column is merged into 2 rows. So by this way we can merge, or by simply we can span 2 rows, 2 columns easily. So that's how we can create tables, and you can practice it by yourself and see what are the customization, what are the styles that we can apply to table. So now that's it for tables, and now let's see how we can embed other websites or other social media videos in our websites. So let's see it. So for this we use iframe, opening and closing tag, and inside iframe we write src, the source, and here we will be writing the website link that we will be showing in our website. So let's say if we want to show the YouTube video, now let me copy the link. So I will go to my channel, and here I will copy one of my video link. Now I will paste here. Now I want to embed it, so instead of watch I will write here embed /. Now when I save it and refresh the browser, now you will see this frame where my YouTube video will be shown. Now let's play it, and you can see that it's showing the video. So by this way we can embed YouTube video. And there is also an official way. Instead of writing this code, we can directly take it from YouTube. So let's say go to YouTube. Now right click on any video that you are playing, and you will see that copy embed code. Now simply copy this and paste it here. Do not write iframe tags, just paste the code and you will see that it will automatically write everything for you for this code, and you can see here. Now let's save it and let's refresh this browser, and you can see that it's showing full video. So these are the things that we can use to embed YouTube video in our website. That's it for iframes. Now let's move on to div. Div tag is used as a container for HTML elements, which can be styled by CSS and manipulated by JavaScript, and these are easily accessed through class or ID attribution. So let's see. So let me show you by an example. So let me write a paragraph. Now inside this paragraph I will write a random text from Lauren. It is a platform which provides a random text and you can easily copy from their websites, but in Visual Studio it is available. Now let's write another paragraph, but first let's make the paragraph in the container, which is div. So div opening and closing tag. Now inside this, let's say write paragraph, and paragraph will be Lauren. Now this is the paragraph number 2. Let's say paragraph 2 and it become paragraph 1. Now if I want to access this paragraph which is contained in a div file, so we can easily access it. So let's say I give it ID to div. So by ID we can access it. So let's give ID as a paragraph 1, paragraph 2. Now when we click on the paragraph 1, it will show the paragraph 2. So let's contain it in a hyperlink, which is A. Cut this and paste it between the opening and closing tag of hyperlink, and now we will give a href link, and here we will be using the ID of div. As I told you that we can access it by using ID attribution. So now let's copy this and paste it in that, and at the beginning we have to use hash, so it shows that it is the ID. Now let's refresh this. Now as you can see that we have two paragraphs, one is paragraph 1 and one is paragraph 2. I have given the hyperlink to the paragraph 1, so when I click on it, it will show the paragraph 2. So let's click on it. So as you can see that when I click on it, it will show paragraph 2. Let's see it again, paragraph 1, and it will move it to paragraph 2, and we have given the ID paragraph 2 by which we can access it. So when we click on it, it will show the paragraph 2. And that's it for today. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comment section, and see you in the next video.